Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Foundry. Today we are reviewing Miss Marvel episode 5. I am JB here with Ken and Tony. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey.
Man, stuff
in
is hitting the fan today. We're going back in time.
Again.
Yeah, we're finally going to learn about the train.
The train incident that
frickin'
they've been
train.
talking about the entire
I forgot
series
the
so
train.
far. Yeah, I feel like it was cool. Like it was really cool. We got to see like British occupied India in the 1940s, late 1940s too. It was really cool. I really like the intro of this episode because I think it was in Arabic, or I know it was a different language. I don't know if it was Arabic.
Oh, like the
though.
Miss Marvel stuff?
Yeah, where
that
like
they-
it like was switching different fonts and stuff. I thought that was
I think
really
they had
cool.
a bunch of different languages actually, because in India
Yeah,
there's a
it's
bunch
like
of different.
Pakistani.
Yeah,
There's a few things, yeah.
It was really
yeah,
cool.
It was really
Yeah.
cool. Yep. I like those touches that they've had in the show. It again adds to that whole. This feels like grounded and somewhat real, even though it's a Marvel and superhero movie or TV show.
Even with
So-
like stuff like that, it feels very modern as well.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of that. So we saw pretty much the episode was centered around Aisha, which is the great grandma of Miss Marvel or Kamala Khan, and so you just pretty much got to see her during like leading up to the partition and stuff, how she settled, and for the entire series, her family has been talking about how she has been like shunned and banished from the people and the families. And after watching the episode, I was just kind of like, I don't see what they were talking about. Like, I don't see why she was shunned or banished or anything like that. Like, what did she do that was so bad?
Oh, in respect to like the rest of the Jinn, I guess.
Not even the
Or-
Jen, just like, remember like how the Kamala's mom was like, oh, we're not talking about her. We don't talk about Aisha. And I was just like, I'm just kind of thinking, I was like, why? Like, I don't see how she like did something so bad. I know, but like they could be like, oh, she abandoned her family, but I mean, like, in a setting like that, you can kind of assume that like she didn't abandon that; they just got split up or something.
You know, that's an interesting thought. I think what a lot of it probably is, her mom. Well, I don't know. I actually maybe it's her mom being like hating Aisha because it seemed to like make her I guess Kamala's grandma like less of a like more distant with like her mom and everything.
Yeah,
Like she blames her Aisha for, causing all these issues with the family, and I don't know. That is interesting. I never really thought about that part.
Yeah,
That's a
it was
good
kinda-
point.
yeah. We saw like a lot of background information with her, which I was like, all right, that was cool. But I did not think it was super necessary. There was not like at any point I was like, oh man, I'm really curious what happened to that train. Like, I'm really curious what happened to it. Like, oh, I can't wait for them to like, oh, they better show it. And then they showed it. I was like, oh man, like, I just felt like it was kind of unnecessary. Yeah.
I think this one was definitely more of a world building episode, like kind of give you a little bit more about the history of the family. But I agree there was probably a bit more than was necessary.
I just think Marvel really likes fucking throwing in all this time travel shit to be like, hey, look how much this phase focuses on time.
Yeah, and different dimensions and stuff like that, breaking
Yeah.
down fourth walls and how meta shit,
Uh-huh.
how comic booky it is, which could be that. Since while we were recording this, there has been the release of like the new phases and stuff like that. So we're all super jaded. No, I'm just kidding. But
Fucking for real, bro. Blade sucks. I hate fucking vampires. Lame.
in the last 30 seconds where I announced that, we have actually seen Blade as well. So
The
that's
new
very
one,
good.
yeah.
Yes, with
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds.
yes. So, which I forgot that Kamala actually teleported like somehow to the train and stuff, and that business was going on. So you just saw like Asia trying to avoid Najima, right? Najima.
Is it supposed to be like
Najima,
the
yeah.
Bandle is giving her this like insight or like this ability to like go to the past?
Yeah, I think the Bengal is, or the Bengal's like opening up, but
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know the true nature of the bangle and everything,
Yeah, at
and
this
how
point,
that all works.
for sure.
So, yeah,
It's-
I mean, the whole time, I feel like they did more of the time travel stuff for like the storytelling aspect. It was kind of cool that you're like, this Trail of Stars that they keep talking about that, Kamala's so interested in because it's like her favorite part of the story or whatever, ends up being her in the end.
Yeah,
which
she's But I thought that
I
was
feel
pretty
like
cool.
that was like a touching moment. You're like, wow,
Mhm.
it was actually me that say like, it's a weird paradox bullshit. It's essentially a time loop that if she wasn't there, she wouldn't have been born herself somehow. It's
Exactly.
weird to think about, but in terms of storytelling, I thought it was kind of a cool moment, because she realized it was her that did that. So it was a nice moment for sure. Just kind of confusing.
Well, we see what happened to Aisha and Najima. It kind of shows you like, hey, like they knew each other and they've been like Najima's been trying to get her hands on the Bengals for over
just
70
kills
years
her
or so.
with
Yeah,
no
she just
remorse.
I thought she just kind of killed her.
It was a bit sudden. Like, I don't understand what the rush is. Like, you could have talked through it or something.
That's the rush.
It's like always a rush. I don't understand. Now it's been like decades, and they're still like, we got to do it now, even though you've waited 50 years.
Yeah,
to try to
what did
find
they do for the past 50 years? I'm like, they literally like they didn't hide the Bengal that well. Like it was just with the family,
no.
you know?
Yeah, I guess I don't understand that part.
And then they're like, here, you're a teenager.
I feel like it was just a lot of oversights and going on with a lot of the stuff, and they just like as the show went on, I feel like they expect you to ask less questions and just kind of go on for the ride.
Yeah, it's definitely not as strong as the beginning of the show. I agree. It's
And
a little bit weird for sure.
yeah, but towards the end, the episode, she teleports back to Pakistan to modern times, and there's a big poof going on, and there's a giant void in time dimensions and shit, and all of Najima's goons are like, all right, cool, we can go home, and they all try to approaching it, and they just immediately get fucking like turned to dust.
Yeah, Indiana Jones style. You have chosen poorly. Just turns into stone and then
Stone to fucking
crumbles.
skeleton.
Yeah, they're just dead, and I thought that was like pretty horrifying. I was like, holy fuck, dude. And
yeah, and then she like closes it, and then Kamala convinces her not to like try to open it and go through anymore, and she's like, all right, I'll do this for my son, and then she just closes it. She dies. It turns into like energy, and then goes to Kamran, and he gets powers. I'm like,
halfway across the
Okay.
world, yeah,
okay,
he just
I
randomly
guess.
gets powers inside of him, and I was like so confused. I was like, what the fuck? I did not know what happened. I did not know. I had to rewind it because I was like, I did not understand that.
Yeah, that was a
So-
little bit weird.
Yeah, Najima died, and Kamran has powers, and that's how we end that episode.
Yeah.
Well,
the episode really was like fucking jacked.
Yeah, and a bit of there's like some character development that happens a little bit too fast. Like her mom now is suddenly like okay with her, like, at the beginning of the series, her mom is very like, we don't trust you, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But by this episode, she's very like, well, she's worried about where she is obviously, but she's also like she's not as strict and like yelling at her as you would expect based on her character from the beginning of the series. So that's like one inconsistency, and I mean I understand that while being here she's kind of made up with her own mom, and maybe that's helped her feel a little bit more open with her own daughter, I guess.
Exactly.
But it happened a little bit too fast.
Kind of like I became what I thought my mother was.
or
Maybe like I'm being like cold like my mother. I always like perceived her as being.
Like it was,
Yeah.
it was nice seeing the family stuff. Like at the end, they seemed
Yeah, 3 generations of the family kind of just all buddy by the end, which is kind of nice.
It was just I did not think the episode was bad, but like I said, when these episodes are so limited with time, you're just like, it's like time is precious. Like what you see is precious. What you take home at the end of the episode is also precious. Like you're on a small, like you don't have a lot going on. Like you need to make every second, every minute count. What you show count. Every emotion count. And it was just like showed a lot of stuff going on in the 40s that doesn't have like a lot of direct impact of what's going on with the story. And if they were gonna show stuff like in the 40s, I really wish they showed more clandestines rather than Aisha and like her creating a family and stuff.
Yeah, and then like the end of this episode like throws you for like a loop to some degree. Like we were all in, Pakistan for all of the episode in the past and the present. And then like it's all the family, made up and having fun. And then all of a sudden it cuts back to New Jersey and we see Kamran with Bruno giving him shelter for a bit.
Yeah.
And then a drone comes and freaking blows up the place.
Blast that drone though, bro.
Seriously, like the Department of Damage Control was going to send a drone to like shoot them up. What was their plan there? They were going to shoot a bunch of kids?
How is that controlling damage? That's causing damage.
I don't know, man. At this point, it's like
I mean, that is a human thing. There would be assholes that would do that. So like that's not unbelievable, but like
there are assholes that do that. It's called us.
Not us. Us. He means like America. Us.
Yeah, sorry.
Ken's like, the Foundry does not condone drone strikes, everybody.
Just has a camera on it. I don't know about y'all.
Like, we do not condone drone strikes. I don't know what you've heard in the past. I don't know what happens on TV.
Microsoft makes a lot of them drones for the government.
Hashtag
blame Ken.
No. But yeah, this episode was a little bit all over the place. And besides those last couple minutes, I almost thought the episode was like that could have been the end of the series almost, because it's like, they closed the thing. If they hadn't given that power to Kamran, that could have been the end of the series right there.
I would have hated that.
Because I mean, she would have like figured out the whole thing with the train. She would have like had a good relationship with her mom and her grandma, and it would have been all great. And then like I just feel like I didn't know what the next threat was going to be after this until they showed that last 2 minutes. So I was like, I don't even know what's going to happen next. And they're like, oh, this thing. Oh, I guess that makes sense for the last episode.
Oh, this guy.
We haven't been building towards this
at all. It's like, oh, this guy that Kamala and Kamran have been building their relationship towards, like, to each other, like, in a positive way, like, the entire time. Like, awesome. Sick.
Yeah, like, let's just totally throw the whole... The whole show up until now has been about Kamala, like, learning about herself and like feeling out her place in the world and learning these powers and all that. And then like this last episode's just like kind of that, but I mean, we'll talk about that in the next review. So,
yeah. It's just like I was kind of disappointed. I was like, man, I was really hoping that this was be a better. Just a better episode. And I was like, after watching that, I was like, man, like, I don't even know what's going to happen the next episode. They killed Najima. It's like, what threat is it going to be the next episode?
Exactly.
Like,
That's
like,
I
what's
think
the
that
threat?
Was
what's the villain? Like, the entire time, like, you're building towards it. Like, all right, Najima you're building towards it, and they kill off a bunch of the goons in episode 4, and they kill off the rest of the goons in episode 5. And the main, I'm like, wow, she's dead. Like, 80 years in the making, and she's dead from a teenager. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, they survived world wars, and they're cool beans.
That is an interesting perspective on it.
Yeah, but I guess we should give a rating.
Yeah.
Episode. I know this one like is a shorter episode, like review too, but like not a lot happened. You just saw a lot of stuff going on, like in India, like in the past. That's all you saw, just like family stuff. Nothing like super interesting, nothing really to make note of, nothing that really impacts the story.
It was nice enough, but
it wasn't bad. I didn't dislike it, but I was just like, this isn't relevant. That's why I don't want it. That's why I didn't want it, because it wasn't relevant.
Right. Yeah.
But 6, I give it a 5. No, 6. 6.
All right, I'll be a little bit more optimistic. I'll give it a 7. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I said,
definitely not as much as the other ones.
It was cool seeing the I like seeing the British like in India and different, like I didn't know there was persecution of Muslims like during that era and time, because they talked about that because of Aisha's baby daddy or husband or something. Apparently he was a Muslim, and they were talking about how they were burning down like homes that belong to Muslims and stuff. And I didn't know any of this stuff, so I haven't seen like
people are the worst.
I haven't seen like what's going on with it.
Yeah.
So I thought there was like some stuff, some history sets and pieces that I enjoyed there.
Don't you love when like goofy ass fucking comic book shows teach you history?
I mean, like, fucking, if they do it well, like it's good for me, man.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I know about World War II's from Inglourious Bastards, like the assassination of Adolf Hitler at that movie theater.
All right, well, if you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let us know what you guys think about episode 5 of Miss Marvel. But next time, we'll be wrapping the show up, episode 6, the grand finale. Can't wait to see you guys
That's
there.
gonna be amazing.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
baby.
Peace out.